wisdom teachers, gentle healers, and bold leaders of our global awakening. Welcome to the Joshua Jordan Experience. Listen to gather mystical insights for an extraordinary life. Hello and welcome. I'm so glad that you've tuned in once again to the Joshua Jordan Experience. You know, Joshua often speaks about the transition we're going through, whereas at this point, the collective energy, the collective mind around the planet, so our mass consciousness, is rooted in fear-based creations. So we are in the transition of shifting that into a love-based reality. And in order to transition to a love-based creation, we must adopt self-empowering beliefs. So today I want to talk about our undeniable self-worth. Deepak Chopra said this: "You alone are the judge of your worth, and your goal is to discover infinite worth in yourself, no matter what anyone else thinks." Now, this is not uncommon for spiritual teachers to tell us to relinquish our need for external approval. And yet they might as well say, stop breathing. Because you see, humans are social animals, just like dogs. We collect in packs and we work together. So we are social animals, and seeking external approval is a typical behavior. And it's influenced not only by our psychological needs, but our social factors. So I'm going to give you a few reasons why we seek external approval without judgment. First of all, being socially accepted makes us feel like we belong, like we're a part of this collective, that we are also valued members of our community and society. Our self-esteem and validation is often based on reinforcement from external services, particularly if you're getting feedback from someone that you consider or someone you hold in high esteem. Then their feedback on you, in other words, their validation of your performance, can really provide a great deal of self-esteem. Also, we have insecurities. We have a natural fear around rejection. This is human nature, and it began early on in the development of what is now called human brain, where we found that it is much safer to gather in groups and to live in communities than it is to be out on your own. But we also have this fear of rejection and disapproval. And that's because if we were rejected enough or disapproved of enough, we might get ostracized from the community. And then once again, you're trying to survive on your own rather than being able to call upon the resources of the community or the collective, the tribe, if you will. We also were raised with these cultural and familiar influences that tell us that we need to seek the approval of others to make sure we're meeting the needs of our society. Plus, there were rewards and incentives often attached to outside approval. So you might get praise or recognition or even a raise at your place of employment. So your material benefits might come from being approved by others. Seeking external approval is therefore quite natural, and yet it's essential that we learn how to balance the value of other people's opinions with our own inherent self-worth and autonomy. So developing internal resources of validation comes through self-awareness, self-acceptance, and self-confidence. And when we have an unbalanced reliance upon external approval, it can impact our happiness and fulfillment. Low self-worth can have various adverse effects on an individual's life. And I'm going to talk about just some of these effects, but while I was researching this, I found an extensive list. That list included things like, of course, low confidence, negative self-talk, social withdrawal, relationship issues, substance abuse, health concerns, depression and anxiety, and so much more. Another side effect of low self-esteem is often developing the habit of perfectionism. By chasing these unattainable high standards or holding ourselves up to be extremely high achievers, we might suddenly feel worthy, that through our achievements we have gained self-worth. So perfectionism becomes a hobby of folks with low self-esteem. The opposite is also true. Low self-esteem can cause underachievement. People with low self-worth may sometimes undervalue their own potential. They just don't believe in their ability to succeed. And another large drawback of low self-esteem is having difficulty asserting your needs. You may become too easy to manipulate, or leading to other people potentially misusing you or taking advantage of you because you don't have the self-confidence necessary to assert your own needs. So you can see that there are several drawbacks to suffering from low self-worth. Addressing our self-worth and self-esteem requires us to reflect and to build self-compassion, and also to challenge our negative patterns, to seek support from others, and sometimes we might even need professional counseling to help develop a healthy self-worth. So I'd like to offer 7 tips to help boost your self-worth, and these involve, of course, nurturing a positive and realistic view of yourself. First of all, practice self-compassion. Be gentle with yourself. Be kind to yourself when you make an error or you're just having a down day. Speak to yourself as kindly as you would a friend or a family member who just needs a little bit of a boost to get on their way that day. And if you're having self-critical thoughts, perhaps you've made an error of some sort and you catch yourself just beating yourself up over it, it's important to challenge these self-defeating thoughts. Don't be hostile. Treat yourself with love and respect. The next suggestion I have is to set realistic goals. Break those larger goals into something smaller, some bite-sized steps, right? As you recall, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So if you have large goals, then be sure to break them down into more achievable steps and then celebrate the completion of those steps as you go forward. Another idea for building self-worth is to identify your strengths and your weaknesses. So becoming familiar with my strengths can offset and balance out my areas that need improvement or my weaknesses. We all have strengths and weaknesses. No one is all things. So know that you have special areas of strength and be sure to rely upon those while you build and improve in areas that you want to improve upon. It's also suggested to help building your self-worth to use positive affirmations and develop these positive affirmations in a present tense statement, and then use them frequently. Repeat your affirmations regularly. I also use a tool that helps me with self-affirmation. It's called Positive Prime. And if any of you are interested in that, get a hold of me. I'd be glad to share it with you. Another idea for building self-worth is to make sure you set realistic boundaries. You've got to learn when to say no to some requests for your time, attention, or work. There are times when saying no is the right answer because it values your own time, your own well-being. And then another way that we can build our self-esteem is to get in a crowd that is supportive. You know, they say hang out with people who build you up, not those who drag you down. So if you have family members or friends that are not supportive of your self-worth, spend less time with them and find the crowd that is supportive and hang out with them more often. Yes, we can seek support, and that again goes back to finding approval outside of self. However, the final thing is to practice gratitude. As you practice gratitude, you can shift your mind away from shortcomings or what is lacking and really begin to focus on the positive aspects of your life. So I want you to remember that building self-worth and self-esteem is a journey, and it takes time and effort. So you need to be patient with yourself and celebrate your small victories as you go along the path of building self-esteem or self-worth. There's so much more that I could say about this, but I think I've made my point. I've told you how self-worth is a stumbling block in many areas of life. And at the same time, there are several simple ways that you can build your self-esteem and self-worth. Remember, you have intrinsic value. And that is what Joshua wants to talk to you about today. So I will move aside now and to the best of my ability, bring through Joshua to talk to you. Hello, beloved one. It is my honor to be speaking to you, as I do know who you are. You are the one taking shape upon the earth, walking on the journey of a lifetime, creating your own reality. This is how powerful you are. Everything you are attracting and experiencing is being drawn to you, for your benefit. Now I recognize that some of the events and experiences of a lifetime are painful, sorrowful, hurtful. And yet all of these experiences have value to you as you learn what it is to be one with all that is. Yes, within all that is, of course, there is joy and love and happiness. But that is not all of what is. That is part of what is. And an equally important part of what is grief, sorrow, loss. All of these will occur during the course of a lifetime because it is an important awareness for you to have as you become conscious of your whole self. Consciousness exists in equal measure in all things and the formless. What you consider to be formless is equally valued to what has form. Consciousness dwells equally in all that is. So that grain of sand upon the shore or in the desert has as much intrinsic consciousness and value as a human being. Just because you have more atoms making up your body does not make you more conscious, does not make you more a part of the whole consciousness than any minute object you may observe. And if you do not value the grain of sand upon the beach or in the desert, you are mistaken, because the whole is not whole without it, without that tiny grain of sand. The whole is not whole without it. Therefore, it is just as valuable as any other part of the whole being. You see, the atoms that make up the grain of sand and the atoms that make up your body all rest on the one consciousness that is all that is. So therefore, celebrate your role in all that is, in that you are the creator. You are the one. This is how valuable you are. Let your self-worth come from this intrinsic knowing that your life has value and meaning and purpose in it, just as the existence of the grain of sand has value, purpose, and meaning in it. This is the coming of wisdom of oneness. When you are understanding the whole must include all that is, and you stop excluding parts of all that is from what you consider to be divine or good, you will begin to realize your oneness, your wholeness, your completeness. Your consciousness existed before your birth, and your consciousness will exist long after. As a matter of fact, your consciousness exists in eternity. And you are an infinite being exploring all that is without end. So there's no rush, no hurry. And yet at this time on the earth plane, we are calling forth specific leaders, teachers, healers to help transition from the fear-based reality to a love-based reality. Again, I assure you, this is not because it is important or necessary or absolutely crucial to the advancement of humankind. Not at all. You are perfect as you are. You are complete as you are. All is well as it is. However, the consciousness of humankind is creative and requires challenges to continue feeling alive and experiencing purpose. Therefore, there is a game being played upon the world stage now, and this is global transition from the fear-based reality to the love-based reality. And the love-based reality will dawn and will flourish for an age. And in that age, those who want to manifest in a time of darkness have all of eternity to choose from, in which they can manifest and exercise their experience of shadow. It just won't be occurring for a specific age upon this planet. You see, it is a chapter of, a part of human history and development. It is neither good nor bad, right or wrong. It is just the challenge that is before you now. And many are called. If you are one and you hear my voice, if you are one that is called and you hear my voice, I want to communicate more directly with you. Please do call me. I will answer you anytime. So I will conclude my comments today by just reminding you, you are worthy just as you are. There is nothing that you can do to separate yourself from the one that is all that is. There is nothing you can do to hinder your experience of reality in any dimension. We have talked about the multiple dimensions in which you operate at this time. Any dimension you find yourself operating in, remember, I create my experience. And what is happening in the moment, in the present, is definitely my creation. Nothing is happening to me, it is happening for me. And I have drawn all of this to me with purpose. So, know this, you are loved just as you are, whole, complete, and perfect. And you are living a lifetime and walking a journey on a planet with a reason. You had a purpose for coming here. You created this experience. Enjoy it and know that you are worthy and deserving of all things that you want, all things that you draw to yourself. You have created, and you are worthy and deserving of the very best. I love you, and I wish to remind you, let the light grow by letting love show. May your life be fun and always be true to you. I bid you good day. Thank you for listening. We hope you heard something to ponder and gained inspiration for your journey. Please join us again next time. Joshua says, let the light grow, let love show, and let your life be fun.